Welcome to the Sportswagers.ca podcast with Brian Sherwood Steinberg and Matthew Finney.
Welcome to the Sportswagers.ca podcast. I'm the man behind the board, Matthew Finney. Of course, joined this weekend, well, most weeks, and anytime we actually throw one of these shows up, Brian Sherwood Steinberg, of course, from Sportswagers.ca, all those great free daily write-ups. Good day, Brian. How you doing?
I'm doing really good, Matt. You know, it's been a fun year so far in the NFL. I don't think we've been on since the season started, and are we 4 weeks in now? 5 weeks in?
5.
But it's a crazy ride every single weekend. You know, we always talk about how nobody can predict the outcome of games, and if you watch that Kansas City Washington game on Sunday night or Monday night, that last play, that just absolute bizarre end to that game that cost so many, it affected every single bet made on that game, whether you were on Washington, Kansas City, the over or the under, and it just happened to be the last play of the game, you know, and there's more emphasis put on it, but you know, a play like that can happen any time in a game. It can happen in the first quarter or the second quarter. Because it happened on the very last play of the game, it seemed to do more damage, but it's really not the case. There's always one or two plays every single game that change the landscape of the entire game. And that's why we always stress playing value, that you cannot predict the outcome of games. You know, anybody that claims they can is selling you a pipe dream. It's just not possible. There's too many variations. There's too much in-game variance for anybody, whether it's hockey, football, basketball, to predict the outcome of games. You know, in hockey, for instance, if you can tell me which goalie's going to be hotter every single night, I would be a rich man, you know, because goaltending, I mean, even if you look at the Montreal-Chicago game, Montreal outshot them 42-25 and lost 3-1. And there's examples of that every single night in the NHL where the hot goaltender wins the games. And again, it goes back to nobody being able to predict the outcomes. You just have to play the value. You have to play the over and under reactions every single week. And that's what you've got to look for. You can't look, you can break it down like any way you want, or try and figure out which defense matches up well against an offense, or break it down that way if you like. But really, that doesn't matter. You know, you have to just play the value, where the over and under reactions are, what the market perception is on all these teams, and play the value. And when we talk about value, we stress it every single day. That's what we mean. You know, you never see us trying to predict the outcome of games. We're looking for that other angle, those other intangibles, if you will, in game that really helps to make your selections. And if we're talking about, you know, we covered, Matt, in our pre-NFL season podcast, the cardinal sins that people make when betting on football, or any sport for that matter. And we're going to go into a couple more of those crucial things to look out for when betting on football or any sport for that matter.
No, that sounds good. And one thing, like we talk on, you know, all the time, obviously, but when those lines come out late Sunday night, early Sunday morning for that next week's games, we like to have a look at those. We're looking at overreactions, underreactions, especially those primetime games, those big popular teams. And I know one of the things that we stress early in the week is, you know, if you see something that you think there's value there, or if you think the number's going to come down, it doesn't hurt to jump in on it. But it's also something we're wary of, because later in the week, you know, depending on the game or depending on the situation, we don't like to be, you know, on the wrong side of the steam, as you like to call it. And it's just, you know, it's one of those things that we're also always looking for, you know?
Absolutely. And, you know, you'll hear prognosticators or touts or so-called experts talking about getting a good number, you know. And what I mean by getting a good number is, like, let's just take an example for this coming weekend. You got Kansas City is at home to Pittsburgh, and the line opened at 4.5, right? Well, a lot of people are going to anticipate a move on that game, right? Because Kansas City's undefeated. They're the hottest team in the league. And Pittsburgh's been absolutely brutal this year. And Kansas City opened at home as a 4.5-point favorite. And you can get in right now at 4.5, and a lot of people will, anticipating a move to 6 or 6.5. And that's what we mean by getting a good number early. But it's kind of a catch-22, right? Because we also stress when the line is moving in the same direction that you're betting, it's usually a bad sign. So if you bet it at 4.5 and it goes up to 6.5, yeah, you've gotten a good number, but there's that danger of all the steam going one way. Right. So when I say, or when we talk about getting a good number, like the experts won't tell you this. They're going to tell you that, you're going with the best of it by getting a good number. We're telling you that, yeah, you're getting a good number, but look for a middle as opposed to letting it ride. So if you like a game, like let's say you're anticipating Kansas City going to 6.5, you bet it at 4.5, and then when the number goes your way, if it does move to 6.5, right, you come back on the other side because you're usually going to be on the wrong side of that game. You come back on the other side and you take the 6.5 now with the Steelers, and you're working with a 2-point middle there. And I know it's not going to hit a lot; it's a low percentage play, but more important, like the middle's a low percentage. It's not gonna hit too often when you're working with 1 or 2 points. But really, the more important factor of this is that you're going to save a bet. Instead of losing that bet at laying 4.5, when you take the 6.5, there's a really good chance you're going to save the bet that you would have lost. And you also have that outside chance for a middle. So you really got to be careful about that good number that a lot of prognosticators talk about. I'm on the opposite side of that. We're totally on the opposite side of that. We're always in favor of getting a better number, but we're also very weary of betting a game and being on the same side as the general public or the market or the steam. So just be very mindful of that when you're making your bet. It's good to bet early in the week. You're anticipating a big move one way. If that should take place, the smart thing to do is to come back on the other way and attempt a middle. Because if that middle does hit, like it did in the Tampa Bay New England game, I think it was last Thursday, Matt, we played Tampa Bay getting 5.5 early in the week. They announced Gronk was out, and that line dropped to 3.5, right? All the steam, all the money was coming in on Tampa Bay, and we came back the other way, and it happened to land on 5, and we hit the middle. But when you're looking at lines early on in the week and you're anticipating a move, yes, it's definitely good to get that good number, but if it does move that way, come back on the other side and attempt the middle, and more importantly, you're going to save a bet.
We saw it all day Thursday. It even started in the morning. NFL Network, ESPN, all these guys are talking about New England. They can't stop anybody. And I saw the scores rolled across. They were picking pretty, 33-30, that kind of stuff, 37-34, those. And then when Gronk's injury came down, that line plummeted. And injuries are another thing that we look at all the time. And there's just always such an overreaction, it seems, anytime, especially a star player gets injured. And even like Gronk, sure, he's a big target, he's a big guy, but he's just one of 11 guys on offense at any given time, and it just can't overreact to those injuries.
You really can't, and that's a key point, right? When you hear people talking about betting on NFL football or any sport, they're always talking about injuries. They're always talking, well, I like this team because so-and-so is out and the left tackle is out and the pressure on the quarterback's not going to be there and their top running back is going to be out, right? Yeah, I just got to say one thing. When the odds makers post a line, they know exactly who's playing and who's out. I never consider or mention injuries in any of my write-ups because they're already figured into the line. Like, they've taken all that into consideration already. They've compensated for it. What the market does is overcompensate, right? And there was a prime example of that last Saturday. Iowa State was playing Oklahoma. Iowa State's number one quarterback was out, and the line went to 30 points. Oklahoma was a 30-point favorite, right? There was a massive overreaction to that injury. Trust me when I tell you that when the odds makers made the line or posted the opener for that game, they know exactly who's playing and who's not. Whether it's football, basketball, hockey, they know when they put out a line who's playing and who's not. It's already factored in. If you're making your selection based on who's in or who's out, you are overcompensating for it. It's already been compensated for. Iowa State's quarterback was out. The line came out at 27 or so. It went up to 30 by game time. And as you know, Iowa State beat them outright as a 30-point dog. That's just one example. There are times when, a line moves and that team with the injury does cover. doesn't mean that, because of the overreaction, the team's going to cover. It just means you're going with the worst of it when you're basing your plays on an injured player or an injured quarterback or a key player being out. It's already compensated. And if that's your reason for making that bet, it's the wrong reason. You're paying too much. You're overpaying. That's another thing that goes to value, right? We're looking at the other side of those games, because we're getting way more value. The odds makers have already compensated for that injury. The market now compensates too, and they overbet that team, and we're getting extra value. So when that guy goes out, the underdog or the value becomes even that much more appealing to sharp bettors. They're actually waiting for that move because of the overreaction, and they always get it. And it may not win, but you're going with the best of it when you're playing against those overreactions. And injuries are a major factor that moves the lines every single week. So always be mindful of that too. In other words, never make a bet based on a guy being injured or a few guys being out. It's already been compensated for. It's actually ludicrous to make your bet based on somebody being out. Okay, it's already factored into the line.
Well, I think one example area this season that really stood out to me was that Week 3 game between Minnesota and Tampa Bay. You had Tampa coming off that big, huge home win over the Bears. They go up to Minnesota. Sam Bradford's out. Case Keenum steps in. I remember talking to you after you'd posted Minnesota as an official play that Sunday morning, that one of the nationally syndicated sports wagering shows talking about how Tampa Bay laying 2.5 on the road was good value with that injury. And to me, that was just crazy. It's supposed to be a professional gambler, I guess, or professional gambling advice giver, and here they're telling you, overreacting to an injury, saying there's value, laying a small number on the road, which is also another situation we always look for. We're always wary of these small road favorites. They don't really cash at a high clip.
No matter what show you listen to or whatever handicapping show you listen to or watch on TV, every single one of them talks about injuries. They always factor it in, right? It's so ridiculous to even think about it. It's already factored in, but they have nothing else to talk about, right? They're always looking for reasons to make a bet or to back up their reasoning. And it's really easy to sell something like, Ben Roethlisberger's out this week, so Pittsburgh's not going to cover. I mean, do you know how ludicrous that is? But all these no matter what handicapping show you listen to, you're going to hear them talk about injuries every single week, and it's one of the reasons, or one of the main factors in their choice. And it's, we're setting it straight here, Matt. When you handicap football or any other sport, you have to ignore the injuries. You have to. They're already factored into the line. Speaking of the NHL, Matt, we bet a lot of live games. We're always betting live. There's great opportunities for middles every day. There's great opportunities for other things. And one of the things I've noticed in the NHL for live betting, it's actually really interesting. So on Bet365, they have live betting up until about 2.5 minutes to go in the game, and then they take it off the board. But if a team is up, no matter what team is up if a team is up 1 goal, they'll have the live line at -1.5. Or if a team is up 2 goals, they'll have the live line at -2.5. Or if they're up 3 goals, they'll make the live line 3.5. Well, there's really a great opportunity there. If a team is up 1 goal, right, the team that's down a goal is going to pull the goalie 100% of the time. They're going to pull the goalie. If a team is down 2 goals, they're going to pull the goalie 100% of the time too. The better bet is actually when they're down 2 goals, because they pull the goalie with more time left in the game. They may pull the goalie with 3, because they need 2 goals to tie it. They may pull the goalie with 3 minutes left, right? But the line is 2.5. You're laying 2.5 pucks, but you get a really nice take back. Like tonight, it didn't work out for me today. I bet, Philadelphia was up 5-4 in Nashville, and they were -1.5 plus 230. And if you think about that, it's really a great bet. Like you're getting a team is up 2 goals and you're laying 2.5, and the other team's going to pull a goalie, and you got about 2.5 or 3 minutes working at a plus 230 to hit that empty netter. And more times than not, they're going to hit that empty netter, right? There's just so much time. I mean, once in a while, the team behind will score and you lose, but if you're consistent with it and you do it all the time, no matter what, you lay the extra half puck or the extra 2.5. I prefer the 2.5 pucks because, like I said, you get that extra minute or minute and a half to hit that empty netter. So instead of 3-1, it's going to be 4-1, right? You get a really good, if the underdog is winning, you get a great price on laying that extra half puck, right? So, for instance, like I just mentioned Philadelphia, Nashville. Philadelphia was a dog in that game. They were up a goal, and they were minus 1.5, but they were plus $2.30. As it turned out, they didn't, they took a couple penalties. They didn't add the empty netter, but I've hit on a lot of those already this year. It's really worth keeping an eye on, Matt. So I'm sticking to 2 goals from now on. If the team that's leading, if they're up 2 goals, the line will be minus 2.5 plus a price. If it's the favorite, the price will be smaller. But if it's an underdog, the price will be fantastic. 2.5 to 1, 3 to 1. You make that bet every single time, and over the course of a season, I think it's going to be really profitable.
Well, it's those empty net goals, too, a reason why when we play our money line parlays, we look at those puck lines because there's a good chance that they're up a goal or two. They're going to pull the goal, and we saw it tonight. St. Louis in the Ranger game, empty net goal late. Same thing with Dallas and Detroit, empty net goal late. So in both of those games, you're laying a puck line with Dallas, or you're laying, even the reverse puck line with St. Louis on the road would have been a really nice number tonight.
You got fantastic prices on that. Same with NFL football or any sport, right? We're always looking to play the alternative point spreads, and take back big prices. If we're betting a game, if a team is a 3-point favorite, we'd rather lay 6.5 and take back $1.70 than lay 3 and lay $1.10. If a team wins over the course of a season, the takebacks are so good that you only have to hit a very small I shouldn't say small percentage, but a far less percentage than if you're playing traditionally, and laying the 110 or whatever, right? That's playing, again, we always talk about playing into the house strengths or the house inefficiencies. When you're laying those extra points or an extra half goal, you're really playing into those outstanding house inefficiencies. So especially on these parlays, right, like a 3-team parlay, like we're making 2 and 3 game parlays that are paying 25 and 30 to 1. So it's really great value. It's betting small with a chance to win big, and that's our mantra. And I can't even tell you how many times we've had so many great nights doing that, and you really don't have to hit a large percentage of them to make money.
Well, we got so many games, football, hockey, of course. We were back with golf this week. We had a guy in contention on Sunday. Unfortunately, that didn't work out, of course, but still, those golf bets are a lot of fun, Brian. The first time in a long time, though, we've got something a little different for everybody. Brian, we've got a guest for the first time in a year plus of doing this show. So why don't you go ahead and introduce Richard?
We brought on somebody to, he's got a service, that he's going to present to you, a great service I subscribe to. I actually have it, and he's going to explain it to you. His name is Richard. He's an avid hockey fan. I've known him for a while. You can trust him with your life, and he's got a great product to offer, and I highly recommend it. I use it myself. I know you use it too, Matt. We can't even tell you how good it is, how much you're going to love it, and how much money you are going to save with this product. And the product is called SmoothStreams. And it's a internet cable provider, I guess. I don't know. Is that what you call it? But it's an internet streaming service. And Richard, welcome. We're glad to have you. And if you could take a moment and explain exactly what SmoothStreams is and how everyone can get it.
Okay, SmoothStreams is an app that I put on the Amazon Fire Stick. The Fire Stick is an item that I sell. SmoothStreams goes for about $12 a month, depending on how long of a term you sign up for. What you get in SmoothStreams is all the sports you ever wanted. All the season packages, all the NFL, the NHL, the NBA, MLB, all the college games, basketball, football, golf, tennis, soccer, rugby, darts, and even all the pay-per-view events. I mean, there's just really nothing. There's very, very few games that are not on there. They all come in pretty darn good high-def quality, very little buffering. And but on top of that, you also get a TV guide, a working TV guide. A lot of you guys probably know about the Kodi app, and it's kind of hard to get some live TV on there. You can get it, but it's usually not very good quality. But when you have the SmoothStreams app, you get all the sports in great quality, and then you get all your TV as well. I'm from the States. You guys are from Canada. But you get all your HBO, Cinemax, Showtime, Stars, Epics, all the premium channels, all the lower grade channels, the Food Network, Cooking Network, A&E, AMC. There's very, very few channels you don't get. You get every single ESPN, Fox Sports 1 and 2, all the NHL Network, NFL Network, NBA TV. You just get everything in fantastic quality. And like I say, for $12 a month, I've helped some guys drop their cable. I mean, some of these guys are paying $285 a month. They have the internet to get this. So around here, some of the good deals are around $3 a month. So $40 plus your $12 a month for the SmoothStream, you're going from $280 a month, some of these guys, to about $52 a month plus tax. You can't beat it. There's nothing you can't get on there. But that's just the SmoothStreams aspect of the stick that I buy. I also sell it, the stick itself with all the movies, TV shows. My sticks all come with 90 apps on them, every topic you can think of. And it's just when you go with me, you just really get the whole package. I provide a technical support as well. If you have a problem, you can contact me anytime. I'll work you through it. I'm in the States. You guys are in Canada, so the people around here, I sell to a lot of locals. If your stick needs an update, they just drop it off at my place or mail it to me. As long as they cover the shipping back, I'll update that stick for free for them, and they're back in business. So I got a pretty good gig going here, and then that's what I do.
So let me just reiterate. Like I had Richard send me a box, and I got it all set up, and it's absolutely tremendous. So again, you get every NHL game, every NFL game. You also get the Red Zone. You get not every college game, but you get a ton of college football games. Like on a Saturday, you're going to get 40 games with no problem. You get all the college basketball. You get Major League Baseball, NBA. You get absolutely everything. Okay. On top of that, if you like to watch, TV series like, Breaking Bad or Boardwalk Empire, whatever, you get the full series. You get tons of movies. You get tons of channels, all in high def, all in great quality, and you'll cut your cable bill by a significant amount, right? So this is going to cost you $150 for the year. $150 for the year. You're probably paying that a month, right? And then you have to pay for the box and the shipping, which is $120. So your initial outlay is $120 plus your 6-month subscription, right, Richard?
Yep.
Plus your 6-month subscription, your initial outlay is just under $200, and you are set up for the next 6 months with all the TV, all the high-def TV you could ever possibly want, and it's tremendous. Trust me when I tell you it's tremendous. I use it. I was a Rogers subscriber paying $240 a month for all these sports packages and TV, and now I'm paying $12 a month. So I really highly recommend it. I'm going to put a link on the website for you to get in touch with Richard, and he'll send it to you. Make the arrangements. He'll send you the box. It's really easy to set up. It's so simple. It'll take you 5 minutes to set it up, and you are well on your way to enjoying sports, any game you want, at any time, and at a much cheaper rate. So it's really tremendous, and I highly recommend it. And Matt, I know you use it too. What are your thoughts on it?
Well, I know for me personally, like, it's just one of those things where there's so much like out here where we don't get, access to the Big Ten network or the Pac-12 network, or it's not even an option. Many of these services, or college especially, like there's just no opportunity to even go through your local provider to even get access to so much stuff. And with what we're doing, especially with the website and everything else, like this is like real life. Like it's fun, but it's still a job, and it's still something that's really important. And we have to watch these games if we're going to be knowledgeable, and if we're going to as situational bettors, we use the eye test more than anything to watch these games. And if we see all the time misleading scores. You saw it again in hockey, tonight with Chicago and Montreal. Montreal played a great game again, but you know what? They're all over in the first period, and they went into the second down 2-1. It's just the way it is.
Absolutely. Also, when you're betting live, if you're interested in live betting, you have to have the games on. You can't be betting live blind. And the SmoothStreams gives you that opportunity to switch easily, from game to game, to watch any game you want. Really, any game you want. It's absolutely tremendous. I highly recommend it. I'm going to put a link on my website for it, on the podcast page, and on the front page. You get in touch with Richard. He will set you up completely, and you'll be more than satisfied. I know I am, and trust me, I'm not making 10 cents on this. I just love it so much that I really recommend it to all my readers, all my listeners, because I often get asked how I watch the games or what I subscribe to, or I get asked that all the time because people can't see the same games I do, but you can now. All right, so I highly recommend it. You'll love it. You'll absolutely love it, and not just for yourself. Your kids, your wife, like all the TV shows, all the series, everything is on there. It's absolutely tremendous. Way better than cable, way cheaper than cable, and you watch whatever you want when you want, and it's absolutely tremendous. So again, I'll put a link on my website. You can get in touch with Richard. He's very attentive. He'll give you all the tech support you need. If you need to set it up, if you're not you don't have to be tech savvy in any way to set it up. It's easy. He even sends you the instructions. It's so easy to do, and you'll be good to go. And it's tremendous. Okay, so I'll look out for that link. I promise you'll like it, and you'll get in touch with Richard, and he'll help you out.
Of course, look for that on the website, Sportswagers.ca. Give Brian a follow on Twitter as well, @SportsWagers3. The other thing on the website, Brian, this week is the NHL Handicapping contest, which Richard is also involved with. So why don't we just smoothly transition right into that?
Yeah, so I spent a lot of time in the forums. I'm always checking them out, reading what people have to say, just listening to different opinions. The thing I found about hockey forums, like NFL forums and NBA forums, they're a little erratic. They got like so many different people and people coming and going. What I found there's like just a big a turnaround of people in those other forums. What I found in the hockey forums, I guess hockey fans are kind of a different breed. I found some really good hockey forums with some great knowledgeable fans. And Richard happened to be on one of them, and we became kind of friendly over time. And he started an NHL handicapping contest a few years ago, and he's been running it every year for X amount of years. And we've moved it over to our site this year, and it's really a lot of fun. And it's available to anybody. The entry fee is $100. That's US, and you win a cash prize. So, Richard, why don't you explain everything about it and how people can get in touch and join, because it's open to everybody.
Okay. Yep. It's an NHL Handicapping contest. This is, I believe, the 5th year I've ran this. We used to run at another site that they decided to go in another direction, so we're moving over to Brian's site this year. It's a $100 entry fee. You're going to put in 200 plays for the year. We only play sides and totals. We bet into live Pinnacle lines. We have a fantastic website that tracks everything for us, tracks our standings. updates immediately, but you need to put in 200 plays to get paid to qualify for the prize. Well, it's just
And how's the prize pool? How's the prize pool divided up, Richard? Like for first place is worth how much?
Well, that's going to be based on how many contestants we have. Now, the last 3 years we've capped the contest at 40, and then our last we had a sponsor contribute $1,000, so we had $5,000 to divvy up. So last year the first place guy won $3,000, the second place guy won $1,500. Third place won $400, and then we got the fourth place guy his money back.
Yeah, so that's great. Like instead of betting every day, in case you don't want to do that, for $100 investment, you get to pick games every single day. You have a chance to win a significant cash prize. It's still open for registration. It doesn't matter if somebody else has started already because everybody is under the same rules. You must make 200 plays. No more, no less, exactly 200 plays. Once your 200 plays are up, you are finished for the year. You're done. Okay, that's your final standing. So even if somebody's made 10 already, you're not behind. You're going to make the exact same amount of plays as them. So it is open for registration. It is on the website, how to join. At the top of the page, there's a tab for an NHL contest. You go in there, you follow the instructions. You're able to see everybody's plays before the game starts. You're able to track your own. You're able to see the standings. You're able to see everything. It's very transparent, and it's a great chance to have a lot of fun for a small investment and win a lot of money and test your hockey knowledge or your handicapping skills against some really good handicappers. There's a few not so great ones too, but it's a lot of fun, and it keeps you very interested in hockey throughout the year, without having to bet it, and it's just a great contest, Richard. So I wanted to thank you so much for bringing it over to our site and offering it to our readers and listeners. And I think it's a great idea for anybody to get involved in. It's really a lot of fun. And I'm going to throw in Sportswagers.ca. We're adding $500 to the prize pool too. Hopefully we can get 40 or 50 people, and we'll have a nice prize pool, and you'll have a great chance to cash in something.
Test your skills. There's some decent handicappers in this contest. There's been some decent handicappers in the past. You want to test your ability. This is the place to come. As far as I'm concerned, this was the #1 hockey handicapping contest on the net for the last 4 years. We brought some real heavy hitters out. They've succeeded, but this is your chance to show what you got.
There's actually links right now on all my NHL write-ups on how to join. And again, if you go to the top of the page of the website, you'll see a tab that says NHL Contest. And I really encourage everybody to join in and give it a shot. Okay? Small investment for a chance to win a great cash prize and a little prestige to go with it. Maybe next year we'll even make a trophy, Richard. Hand out a trophy. That's kind of fun too.
Well, I tell you what, Brian, you're a great cheerleader for me. You're promoting two of my passions here, and you're doing a heck of a job. I really appreciate it, and it's really nice meeting the both of you tonight and being on the podcast. I thank you for having me.
Okay, well, that's great, and hopefully we'll get you back on here soon, maybe to talk a little bit of NHL, and in the meantime, we'll encourage everybody to join the NHL contest and to get yourself involved in the SmoothStreams. It's a tremendous service, and you'll all enjoy it. And I guess that just about wraps it up, Matt.
Sounds good, Brian. Well, before we get out of here, give Brian a follow on Twitter at SportsWagers3. Of course, that website, Sportswagers.ca. Check out the SmoothStreams. Check out the NHL Handicapping contest. And that'll do it for this week. For Brian Sherwood Steinberg, I'm Matthew Finney. Take care, everybody.
Thanks for listening to the Sportswagers.ca podcast. Please rate, review, and subscribe. For free daily picks, visit Sportswagers.ca.